Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Apple report for Friday, March 8th, 2024. Let's take a look at the chart. Start with the big picture, work our way into the day itself. I've been mentioning for weeks how 174.36 just might contain selling not only through March, but through the second quarter. Obviously wasn't to be. We certainly violated that level this week and are now anticipating not this area, but and it is still a significant area, 162.55 to 163.96, but this area, 166.93, a level that may actually be in reach today. 166.93 is on the weekly chart what on the daily chart we find at 166.89. And, it is a 1% violation of 166.89 that I'm using as our downward sell signal as we move really. I'm going to say through the second quarter, 165.22. Now, I'm not expecting this today. I do see this gradual descent. These day ranges may well continue today, so we could drop to 166.89. But I'm not expecting a settlement of 165.22 or lower today. But it certainly could happen, and that would be a 1% below this significant channel bottom. That would also be below the same structure on the weekly chart at 166.93, and that should then yield. And I haven't mapped it out yet. My regrets, but that should then yield. Do I have that on the weekly chart? I think I do. Bear with me. Yes. That should then yield the 130s, 140s over the next, with the recent volatility, it could be a matter of 3 to 5 weeks. But I do think it would likely be several months before the market would then, presumably bottom out, say, through summer trade into later year, and we could round back up again. But I do think there's a very good chance that if we close today, the week, below 166.93, and that needs to be by a 1% margin of 165.22 or lower, that we probably have a good high for the year. That January high was in the 190s, and I don't see us visiting that again. We certainly could, but it's going to put a real damper on bullish sentiment for Apple as we move into mid-year. It's going to be more of a bearish tone than a bullish one fundamentally in the media, social media, so forth and so on. And I do think the 130s, 140s would be expected. We will show that on Monday's Apple report, so you know. But until then, solid bottom picking territory. 174.36 is our resistance that can contain buying through next week. Now, that's 174.82 really on the daily chart. Of course, 174.36 is this former descending channel top that actually held nicely several months ago. But in terms of the daily chart, it is 174.82, this descending channel bottom. There's a different structure altogether. We are not going to see that today, I don't think. I do think our upward pivot point, the indication for testing 174.82 over the next, say, 3 to 5 days would come with a settlement today above 170.73. Nothing more than Thursday's high. And once again, as we're breaking to new move lows, the high of the low is an important pivot point. Now, it's not a long-term pivot point, but it's a valuable one as we move into next week. In other words, if we close today, Friday, above 170.73, I think you can expect that 174.82 level over the next 3 to 5 days or less. 174.82 combined with that 174.36 channel top on the weekly chart, able to contain buying through next week. And from there, we could fall back again or back into the 166 handle long-term support. This is your 1 to 2 week swing trade, FYI. Buying 166.89, selling 174.82, talking to 1 to 2 week swing traders. 3 to 5 day swing traders are using 170.73, below which we should test 166.89 over the next few days. And if we close above 170.73, once again, within 3 to 5 days, the 174.82 level. Even if we were over the next week or two to close above 174.82, that is certainly a stabilizer, but I'm not expecting a meaningful up pivot in the market unless we close then above 178.49. This is a new descending 1/3 speed line that is based on the December high, also using Thursday's low. This is a trend-defining line study. So yes, closing back above 174.82 does neutralize bearish momentum, bearish tempo, but in terms of indicating creating bullish momentum, bullish tempo as we move through the rest of March and into April. That would come with a settlement above 178.49. And with that, I would expect the low 190s. We have a new descending channel top off of this low against these lows. And if you then extend a parallel line coming down, you can see how it may actually be in the 180s by now. We will be showing that, of course, over the coming days. We will definitely show that descending channel top. I do want to see the low in, though. In other words, if we close today above 170.73, I'm confident we've got a good low at least into next week. And then we can then commit to these longer term structures that would be based in part on the low that is put in. And so far, Thursday's low is the low, 168.49, holding below 170.73. Just a reminder that we can test our targeted 166.89 level. Now, if you recall, it was a settlement below this 174 handle support that I mentioned was a 2 to 3 week sell signal. And this has all happened in about 3 days. And so we could today test 166.89, solid bottom picking territory. If you reached for instance, 167 strike out of the money puts a few days ago, that would be an area to take profits and actually go long. 1 to 2 week swing traders, as we're testing 166.89, liquidating any out of the money puts you may have acquired over the last few days, last few weeks, and in turn reach for 174 strike out of the money calls that don't expire for at least a month. This is a 1 to 2 week swing trade. You may also reach for 178, 177 strike out of the money calls that don't expire. I would go a full month out on that, a month and a half perhaps in the expiration of that option. Once again, we have a solid buy signal into April trade if we can close above 178.49. But I will say, and this is probably the last thing I'm going to say, that as we are testing 166.93, this is a long-term support area. And so if you're looking to buy Apple longer term, which is to say not just the next couple of weeks to 174.36 or the next month to 178.49, over the next couple of months into the low 190s, but I'm talking over the next 3 to 5 months, perhaps back into the low 200 area. This channel top would be in reach within 3 to 5 months or less of testing 166.93. As we're testing 166.93, you could go long Apple, stay long Apple, unless we close below 166.93 by that 1% margin of 165.22 or lower today. Until then, you're holding on for the possibility of recovery over the coming 3 to 5 months back into the very low 200 region, where this market could actually top out on a quarterly basis, and if settled above, would be a significant long-term buy signal through the rest of the year. I think I've covered everything. I am going to leave it at that, I think. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. We did 2 stock picks this week, the Dollar Tree Store and Micron. And you can check out both of them for free by going to wickedstocks.com, subscribing. You get 5 days up front at no cost to you whatsoever. You can also see the daily Triple Q and daily SPY report. By the way, the Triple Q approached within 1%, a target we've had since early November. It's a 16-month channel top, significant long-term resistance area that could maybe contain buying through the second quarter. We do need to close above it to sustain this incredible rally that's been underway since, October. I think we can go back anyway. I'm going to leave it at that. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. I'll be back Sunday afternoon with Monday's Apple report, and you have a great weekend.